I am late. I'm late. Sorry I'm late. But I had a bunch of adulting I actually had to do last minute. Always having something to do, right? It's always this thing or that thing. So, hello world. How are you guys doing? Back for another show live from Neptune for you guys. Oh man, I have a lot of stuff I've been working on. A new project upcoming hopefully soon. And yeah, just been working on things, working on myself, you know, working on the house, today I took a whole like four garbage bags full of stuff, plus some additional items over to Goodwill. Some of it was my dad's stuff, some mine, some, other people's stuff that's here. And yeah, I'm thinking about the future. I'm thinking about Flory, and all that stuff. So the stuff, we got to start preparing for Flory. So, it's not a joke. Like it needs to get moving, getting packed. Um, clearing out the place to necessary items only. What's coming, that kind of vibe. So, um, okay, sorry about that. I'm sorry. I have to show somebody my amazing new keyboard. I've wanted one of these for so long. Look at it. I wanted one for so long, and I finally have my keyboard. This is a gaming keyboard, but you know, it's a filmmaking keyboard now. So yeah, I love it. And it comes with an armrest, a magnetic armrest. So I'm excited to it's like makes me want to be over here. Got a lot of stuff to do. Anyway, so we're 3 minutes in. I'll get the show started. Child. Today I finally finished the Family Chantel season 3. And boy, what a freaking ride that was. Why? Already have people spam in the chat. Anyway, so I just finished the Family Chantel today, and what a crazy ride that was. The first initial part of the season wasn't particularly interesting to me, but as it started to pick up with the storyline with Pedro and his trying to find his father or trying to find out more information, I started to get really invested. And by the end of it, I was just like, oh, I mean, I still wanted one more episode after season, but I was like, oh, this is giving season finale vibes. But by the end of it, I was just like, oh, I was worn out. I was on the cross. Oh my gosh. Winter storyline, also very fascinating. So anyway, let's just break it down. So we'll start with so yeah, the storylines for the season. The main storylines obviously was Winter and Pedro. Winter, her relationship with Ja and breaking up and stuff like that. And when I first saw Ja come on the show, I was like, I didn't think that it was real, that the family didn't really like him, and that the whole kid thing that he revealed he had another kid. I think she probably knew that. I feel like that was real. I mean, wasn't real. Um, but watching them, I started to get red flags when Ja came out and was talking about how he has this religion that he's following and that he wants Winter to follow. And in him following his religion, it was detaching her from her family and isolating her from her family. Because I've been through that before. And I was like, when he was talking all this stuff about men are this and women are that, and men play this role and women need to hold their role, and I'm a king and I need to be, looked at as a king, and telling her, that she can't celebrate Christmas anymore with her family and all this other bullshit. I'm like, I know where we're going. We're going down the Hotep, brainwashing woman, slightly red pill manosphere, that kind of like dark end of that stuff. And I felt bad for Winter. Kimberly Kubana Ku Kimberly Ku Kerbanali. I'm sorry if I butcher your name. Says hi, Liz, and I'm saying hey back. How are you? So when I realized that when they started going down that route, and he was telling her she couldn't stay around with her family and all this stuff, I'm like, okay. I felt so bad for her. And I'm like, this girl is really in his grips. And upon, doing some further research about their relationship, they, I guess let me read here how their relationship started. Um, Okay. So it says Winter Everett is often considered the most sympathetic Everett family member, especially when it comes to her relationship with Ja. The older man has dated Winter, now 27, since she was a teen. Get them early. Get them early, That's a red flag. Get them early so you can mold them and make them into whatever you want, right? Um, she chose to raise his child and convert to his strict Nazarene faith despite his lies and deceptions. So he lies, he deceives, he treats her bad, you know, but, he's a man of faith, whatever. Which, this to me was a clear case of a man using faith and religion to control a woman. Okay, Winter and Ja have broken up numerous times in the past, but their recent split appears to be the final nail in the coffin. Only one can only hope. Okay, Ja asked Winter to leave his home after a discussion about polygamy turned ugly because Winter is opposed to the idea. Though Ja and Winter just aired their engagement, Chantel appears convinced that her sister will no longer take him back. The Family Chantel fans are happy to see Winter finally recognize her worth and walk away from Ja. Yeah. Uh the polygamy thing, I watched Seeking Sister Wife on TLC as well. That show is just like, I mean, talk about like that is where you can fully witness male brainwashing like in such an insane degree, like the like I was telling my friend that watching that show will make you hate men. Like watching these men convince their wives to become sister wives is like, it's so sick. It's so sick, and it's such a particular kind of woman that ends up on the show in these situations. um I am a free thinking person. Polyamory, whatever, do whatever you want. I understand polyamory and all this stuff. The problem with the polygamy and all the shows is that from what I have seen, it's never the woman's idea, and she always has to be convinced into doing it. So that for me is a problem. And oftentimes the woman will say that they're uncomfortable with it. And so, and then they keep going, like this one woman on the last season, Seeking Sister Wife. I mean, this woman was broken down so bad that like she was in the next room while her husband was just like effing his new wife, which he's not even like, they haven't even had a ceremony and whatever. Like, whatever. That's another story. Hopefully, when that next season starts, I'll do a review on that. Anyway, it was very suspect to me when the fact that Ja can probably lie and say that he wasn't trying to get her interested in polygamy, but his question, I can see the ray. I can see what you're trying to do. When he asked Winter, how would you feel if your daughter was in a polygamous relationship? That was his way of gauging of how she feels about polygamy without directly outright asking her if she would be interested in it. And I'm so glad that Winter was able to see through that, to see like, why are you asking me about what I think about polygamy? No, I wouldn't want my daughter to be in polygamy, and I wouldn't want myself to be a polygamist. He, went after a young girl who he probably thought had low self-esteem, who didn't have, no other options. And he said that she has been raising his daughter since they got together, which is just like insane, because she was 19 years old raising an infant. That doesn't even make. I was trying to search and find out how old he is, but looking at him, he seems like he might, if she's 27, he's probably like 36, 37. So he has some years on her. I don't think 10-year relationship, I don't think that's bad. I don't think if you're 19 and you're dating someone 27, 28, I don't think that's wrong, especially because I've done that. I did that when I was that age. I don't think that's wrong. It's wrong, obviously, when you're using your age, when you're specifically picking a young person to take advantage of them or to try and mold them to like Play-Doh into whatever you want. Like, that's a problem. So, him asking her, I think he picked her because he wanted to find a girl that had low self-esteem, that didn't have anybody, and then basically turn her into who he wants. And then he picks up this Hotep fake ass religion. I don't know. I think it was I saw people saying something about 5%ers or something, that he's like affiliated with that. And so I'm like, okay, I see where we're going here. You're trying to, you're trying to push this, I'm the king. And then okay, I'm sorry, this is a lot because I can see through the bullshit. I can see the layers through the bullshit. The whole point of him adopting this religion and talking about, we don't do holidays, we don't do Christmas, we don't do that, I know it's trying to alleviate responsibility on him for having to contribute, celebrate, buy her gifts, buy her stuff, do Christmas, do that, isolating her from her family, making her not, you don't need this, you don't need that, and stuff like that. If Winter did not have two loving parents who together, if she didn't have two parents who were still together, that loved her, that were on her ass, she would have been sucked up and taken with that guy and been with him. He's got two kids, two different women. Now he wants her to come in. She's been raising his kid. And then, now he wants to add a second wife. That's where that was going. He was going to try and add a second wife eventually. Yeah, these dudes call themselves kings but need a woman's money and labor to survive. Exactly. You're a king, you're the man, or whatever, but you're not doing the duties. The thing is, though, is he was playing a slick game. Like, you want to be the man, you want to be the head of household, then assume the responsibility. And so it also was unfair. Why is it that, his religions, they call it Nazarene faith, celebrates the Sabbath? So they invited her family over for the Sabbath, and they ate unleavened bread, which looked like some very stale ass, crunchy ass crackers. And they were like, yeah, this is how we celebrate. Eat the crackers, da da da. So Winter's mom made a good point. She was like, we're going to go over there to show them that we are religiously tolerant of people's religions. So they could go over there and be tolerant of his religion. But why can't he be tolerant of their religion? Like you're going to tell her that she can't even go over her family's house on Christmas? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's the mind games. It's like the trying to, things that this is not all men. I'm not talking about all men, obviously. These manipulative tactics by males, okay, that do these things to break women down, you know, guys that will say, I hate when girls wear makeup, don't wear makeup, don't dress up this way, be conservative, all this stuff. And it's not because of some fucking values they have, it's because they don't want you to know that you can do better or get better. They don't want you putting on makeup because then you're gonna be feeling yourself and you might get attention and stuff like that. They don't want that to happen. That is what was going on in this situation. And so this story was really fascinating to me because I'm like, damn, like this, we're watching the stuff that we see online people talk about play out in reality. It's played out with me, and you watch it play out and you're like, oh my God, like this is crazy. So anyway, I looked on her Instagram and I haven't seen any pictures with the guy. So I think when they broke up on the show, they really did break up. And Winter is so lucky. As crazy as the family Chantel is, as crazy as their family is, she is very lucky to have her family support in getting her out of that relationship. Because now when I think about myself, when I was trying to break up with Dusty King, everyone wanted me to break up with him, get away from him and all this stuff. But Ungu says, what show is this? I hate these kind of shows, but like watching people's commentary. It's called The Family Chantel. It is a spin-off show of 90 Day Fiancé. One of the couples from 90 Day Fiancé, they were on there for like 2 or 3 seasons. They had their own spin-off show. The main girl was Chantel. She married Pedro. He's from Dominican Republic. And so now this is a spin-off show that surrounds mainly Chantel's family, but also Pedro's family in the DR. It's fascinating because it's like, this season was especially crazy because you learned so much about like Dominican culture and Caribbean culture, and like Pedro's storyline this season is like so crazy. I'm gonna get into that next, but Winter's storyline, which picked up in the second half, I thought it was really important to talk about, and it was really resonated to me. It got me so like, I be getting triggered, y'all. Like, I be watching this shit and getting triggered. I'm like, oh my God, it's happening again. Like, I hate to see girls go through this. But when Winter was breaking up with this guy, and like I said, when I think about myself with Dusty King, I had to break up with him and get away from him on my own. My family, they would try to tell me and stuff like that. But when he kicked Winter out, she went back home. She's home at her house with her family. She's like, no, I think this is it. I don't deserve this. Like, I'm over this. Like, she when the polygamy conversation came up, she was like, she said she just like thought to herself, like, I don't deserve this. Like, I deserve better than this. Like, you about to be one of 2, 3 wives or whatever. She's, I don't deserve that. Like, and dude came and showed up outside her house, trying to get her to come, trying to get her to come outside to talk. And she called him on the phone. She had Chantel, her sister, hanging over her shoulder, her father in front of her, her mother on this side, her brother on that side, and everyone was supporting her and telling her they were muting her phone when they wanted to tell her something. Like, he was talking, they would mute it, and they were like, no, tell him this, tell him that. They were very supportive, and they pretty much like scooped her into their arms and was just like, so like support is a huge thing, when you're trying to get away from someone toxic, someone in a bad relationship. So if any of y'all know someone who hasn't seen the light yet, who hasn't come to their senses, support is the thing that they really need. And Winter even admitted that there was so much more crazy stuff going on that she never talked about to her family because she was just too embarrassed. And I just touched me. I'm just like, I know that feeling. I know, like, The stuff that I told y'all in, so I told y'all in the Dusty King documentary, it was horrible. But there was even more. There was even more stuff that happened, stuff that he did that was so embarrassing, humiliating to me that as real as I wanted to be, I just couldn't even say on camera and let people know that I was going through that. I was dealing with something like that. So yeah, her story was, it touched me, and I'm so glad she dumped him. And even look on her website, on her Instagram, she started working out. She started, let me see if I can bring it up actually. Um she started working out, and she's lost some weight. So I think that she's coming into herself. Let's see. Winter. Oh. Yeah, so she's coming into herself after a breakup, which, is good. And she's finding herself. She started dating this guy when she was 19. So you know that she doesn't really probably know who she is. So let's see. So yeah, this is her now. She's lost some weight. She's the best revenge is success, right? Looking good, right? She always take care of herself. She always looks fly. She always looks good. On the show, she dresses nice, like, hair done and stuff like that. So I'm happy to see her find herself. She was really like, at the end of the relationship, like, I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do now? Who am I? Like, she had no idea. And this is the perfect time. She's 27. Like, she's about to, it's going to be a lot to find herself, but I'm happy for her. And I love to see people get out of fucked up relationships. I love it. I love to see when you come out from the toxicity. So yeah. Anyway, so that was Winter's storyline, and I'm happy for her. And so now on to Pedro's storyline. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. So let me see. Let me go back to this website kind of sums up the storylines pretty good. Oh, if anybody watching, please give me a like. It would be really helpful. They're free 99. And don't forget to follow my Instagram. You'll see in the ticker tape on the bottom my personal page, Liz Neptune with 3 Z's, and Poseidon Films USA. You can find the link to it in my bio on my personal Instagram page. So yes. So all right. So this, yeah. Let's see. All right, so Chantel and Pedro. This is the original couple for 90 Day Fiance. Chantel and Pedro Jimeno are the main family Chantel couple, and there is no indication that the married duo has parted ways. No, they haven't broken up. However, many of Chantel's followers noted that she spent 2021 enjoying many tropical travels with her close group of female friends without Pedro tagging along. Meanwhile, Nicole has accused her older brother of sleeping with her friend Karaima Morla. Although the rumors have yet to be publicly addressed, many viewers have flagged them as likely being false. Pedro and Chantel enjoy exchanging flirty banter on social media and appear to have become one of the most stable couples in the family Chantel, following tons of drama. So, like, so this season started out kind of slow. Pedro, for some reason, for obvious reasons, decided that he wants to find his father, know who his father is. So he's basically started investigating. He found his cousin, went and talked to her, asked questions to her. He asked his mom. His mom was very closed off, didn't want to answer questions, didn't want to tell nothing. And Pedro's story this season was also triggering to me because I now, while I'm not Latina, I think that Caribbean people do share a certain common cultural traits. I think obviously all black people do share certain common cultural traits. But I'm just going to talk about the Caribbean now because obviously that's what I know. That's where my family's from. That's my culture. So, Caribbean people, West Indian people are extremely, extremely emotionally repressed. They do not talk about their feelings, especially the older people. They don't want to tell you about things of the past. They don't want to tell you about their mistakes. They don't want to uh tell the truth. They'll lie. They will omit. They will, why do you care? Why do you need to know? Just move on. And so that was a lot of the stuff that a lot of the responses that Pedro was coming into when he was trying to search for his father. And so, of course, it was revealed that hold on. I need something to drink. That's so random. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Ugh. Whoopsies, didn't have my water. Who says Africans are like that too? Yeah, so I've heard. And so this was some of the stuff that Pedro was encountering when he would try to talk to people about try to get answers pretty much. And his father, never came around. He said that when he was young and his father would come to the house, that his mom would tell him to go in his room. So he never would have interactions with his father. I think he said the last time he saw him was about when he was 10 years old or something like that. And you know, it was hard to watch as the mother. Pedro wanted to know more about the family and more about his siblings, but the sister didn't want to know. She didn't want to have anything to do with them. She's a lot more further in her development as a human being. His sister is a complete fucking asshole. Like, there's nothing appealing about her personality at all. It's like watching nails on a chalkboard and listening to nails on a chalkboard anytime she comes on the screen. No one likes that girl, including me. Can't you tell? So, let me just make sure. Ooh, yes. Okay. Anyway, so, hey, I have 5 people in here. Hey guys, can you please give me a like? It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Thank you very much. All right. So, yeah, so the sister, she's just an awful human being. No one can stand her. And so every time, you know, Pedro's trying to ask his mom, she'd give him little pieces like breadcrumbs. I don't want to talk about it. I don't da, da. And it just pissed me off because I have a family member like this. He would ask her questions and he would start to get really frustrated. And she would just be so cold. She had no feeling. She had nothing, 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 nothing to offer. Like, by the end of the season, I could tell that this woman is clearly hurting inside. She clearly has a lot of pain and her trauma. But the way West Indian people look at it, they're like, well, life's a bitch and you just deal with it and that's it. It's fucked up and don't work, don't ask questions and all this stuff. And so to watch Pedro kind of, when he realized that, his father was that his mother was a mistress, like a side woman, and she had kids, and he had like his main family that he kept away, and he would lie to both of them saying, I traveled for work or whatever. And when he went to his family about it, his mom was like, so what? So what if he had another family? Who cares? So what? It's no big deal if you can have kids and get money. Like, it doesn't, she was just like, I know that she's hurt. Like, she's hurt and she's so fucking hard, deep, deep, deep. The rocks, the walls are just thick with concrete that she just cannot show any kind of weakness because she's had to be strong for so long. And they're talking with her and then talking with his grandmother, who said the same. She was like, yeah, my husband, he had a side children. That's how it is in the Dominican Republic. Pretty much. So what? Get used to it. That's how it is. Like, and so then Pedro started to realize his grandmother either was a side woman or she was the main wife, and the father had family outside. Then his mother was a side bitch and then was a family outside. And then his sister now, her boyfriend, who they all hate, is married, and she's like, with this guy who's married or whatever. And he's like saying to her, like, can't you see the pattern? It's happening again and again. And he started to feel crazy because he's like, they're making fun of him. They're making jokes at him. They're roasting him. Like, this has happened to me, dude. This happened to me. I was so triggered. And he's like, I have one wife and I have one woman and I want to be with her and I want to stay with her. Like, he's basically trying to break the cycle. He's trying to break the wheel. And all of them are just like telling him he's, crazy. He's too emotional. He's this, he's that. And I'm just like, I felt so bad for him because he was like, it was like a train hit him. He didn't know where to go. He was like, I feel like my life is a lie. I don't know. Like, it was just so interesting. And I feel like it was really interesting to see Caribbean culture like this on display. And mind you, most of this was in Spanish. Like, half of the show is in Spanish, because they're in the DR or whatever. And it's facet. It was just really interesting to me because I like culture. I love culture. You know, when I first went to college, I was studying foreign language, and that's what I wanted to do. And so to see that, it was just hard to watch. And so he said, he would get frustrated trying to talk to his mom, and he's like, so what does it mean? Am I a mistake? And she's like, yes, you're a mistake. Yes, you're a mistake. Yes. Then he asked her another time, do you love me? Do you care about me? Whatever. No, I don't care about you. No, I don't love you. And she's looking at him like, you're so stupid. Like, okay, if what he's saying is dumb, and of course you love him, and of course you care about him, of course he's not a mistake, why not just say that? It's like they cannot just say how they truly feel. Like, it's like they are so hard and so cold that it's like they cannot. It's like you could literally put a gun to a person's head, and when they don't say it, blow their fucking brains out, and then go to them and say, now you better say it or I'll blow your fucking brains out. They will still not say things that they feel. They will rather get their fucking head blown off than actually say these things. And I'm telling you, I've watched it happen, life or death, whether saying the things that you're supposed to say or not. I've watched it happen, life or death. 1 second. I watched it. Like I said, I watched it like happen, life or death. I've watched people, you know, you never heard a family member tell you they love you your entire fucking life. Never, never, never. And, I remember being a kid, I used to hear like my friends at school, their parents would call them, like they would call their mom and be like, hey, mom, I'm out of school, yada, yada, yada. Okay, love you too, bye. Every single time they're on the phone, hugs, kisses, cuddling on the couch with your mom or your dad or whatever, like watching Pedro go through that. I'm like, damn, bro, like I know exactly what you're feeling right now. And I felt so bad for him. And to watch his mom not be able to just say, just you keep saying you don't want to talk about this, conversation is boring, I don't want to talk about, I want to just tell him the information that he wants and he'll stop or go away or whatever. Just so annoying. So yeah, that story was crazy. It was crazy. The whole season was just nuts. There was I'm gonna actually, let's check out Reddit because I have Reddit pulled up. I want to see what some of the people. So I was actually late. Like, I waited till the show was all out before watching. So some of these are kind of old. Um, like a month old and change. So I still want to see. All right. So the Family Chantel. Jump back into Family Chantel. Now that I've taught blah 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 River. I'm feeling Pedro in the Family Chantel this season. Episode 8, they share some real shit. Pedro's trying to break the family cycle of infidelity and help his sister understand it can be different. It's heartbreaking seeing him at home realizing what the women in his family really think. It was so toxic. It was so dysfunctional. And that's the thing that pisses me off. It's like, y'all, and when I say y'all, I be talking about Caribbean people, whatever, or whoever the fuck thinks like this. Y'all be like, y'all think that just because y'all went through something that everybody else should have to go through it. Like, that's just how life is. So what? Who cares? You're stupid, you're funny, you're a joke for trying to figure things out, and you're too sensitive. I'm getting a little triggered. These are some of the things I've heard. You're too sensitive. You need to, you're gonna have a hard time in this world if you don't. And it's like that's like the whole disconnect with some older folks. It's like, yeah, the world is a certain way, but if you look at the world 100 years ago and now, it does change. So, we can change things. We can start, they the dysfunction, and the way his mom said, that's how it is. That's Dominican culture. Men don't stay with one woman. Like, you better get used to it. That's how it was. It was just like, ugh, it was just so gross. It was gross. It was truly gross. Um, someone said, I gained a lot of respect for him when he began his journey of self discovery. I genuinely feel for him. All of a sudden, Chantel's family isn't looking too bad. I agree completely. He's definitely really struggling, and I genuinely feel bad for him. I was almost crying with him when he was saying, I'm tried. Oh, shit. Oh. Hold on, guys. Hold on. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Hold up. This is so stupid. This is fucking stupid. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I have to eat something. Told says, hey, Liz, did you hear about the storyline possibly being made up? Yeah, I actually heard about that when looking at it. And we're going to get to that. Trust me. There are pics of Pedro, Chantel, and his sis with the brothers he never met before. Yeah, I'm going to get to that. I'm sorry, y'all. I told y'all I have this bad habit of not eating at proper times. Now I just started to feel really, really weird. This is so stupid. It's just so stupid. So dumb. Anyway, okay. So I agree completely. He's definitely really struggling, and I genuinely feel bad for him. I was almost crying with him when he was saying, I try to be a good man with one woman. He wasn't faking any emotion, and I really respect a man who is so raw and in tune with his feelings. Yeah. So about the faking thing, I think that obviously it's reality TV, and I think there's some elements that are fake, but I think there's certain stuff, it's a hybrid between real and the fake, right? I think that it's possible that he did know his brothers before, and that he might have known of who his father is, but not really know him, and also possibly never got the real story, never got the real dirty, low down story of everything that went down. Pepe, oh my God, that was so sad when he was standing outside his grandma's house crying. I so wanted to just give him a hug, and Chantel was trying to be very supportive and caring without pushing him. I really like those two. There was someone had made oh, Ja wants to be a cult leader and make Winter his first inductee on next week preview of the Family Chantel. Yeah, and then he was telling her that he thinks that she should call him Lord. What? What? You want to be called what? By who? Come on, man. And that was the other thing too. Someone said Jah is the Rastafarian name for God, so thinking he's taking his name literally. Think he has two kids, the secret one and the one Winter knew about. Yeah, I was wondering if he calls himself Jah because of that on some Hotep bullshit. So stupid. Someone had made kind of a breakdown post. Hold on. Oh wait, I typed in Family Chantel instead of Pedro. Yeah. This was like one of the grossest things I've ever seen. Watching Pedro's grandma, mother, and sister mock him for wanting to know his father was horrifying. It was so hard to watch. And like, the daughter was talking about how, you know, her mom grew up with her father around. So it's like you don't she had no empathy for Pedro wanting to know this information. And they were just like, you grew up with your father, so you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like to not have that. So it was hard to watch. I understand that's the culture in the DR. No, it's not the culture in the DR. That's the culture of dysfunction. That's the culture of dysfunction. Okay? Culture is not supposed to hurt and be painful. I mean, yeah, there's culture that's dysfunctional and bad culture. So let me not say that. There is certainly bad culture. I understand that that's the culture in DR in terms of men having more than one set of children outside their marriage and all over the Caribbean. All over the Caribbean. My grandfather has multiple children throughout the Caribbean. My mother's father, not my father's father. My mother's father has multiple, they're all over the place. Trinidad, St. Vincent, Barbados, I'm pretty sure. all over. So, I mean, they even talk about, I even hear, Black Americans talking about that too, like grandfathers, whatever. Oh, I want to love like my grandparents. Meanwhile, the grandfather got a whole family in the next town over the whole time. So it's not just them. Pilots too. I've heard pilots do that. I don't know how true that is. Pilots having families and like they're dual, so like if they do like a New York and a LA flight, like that's their path. They have a family in LA, family in New York. But then where does Lydia get off being so hyper judgy about Chantal, who is arguably the least awful member of her family, or Alejandro? Plus, what part of Dominican culture is being a totally emotionally abusive asshole to your grandson, son/brother? Uh, what part of Dominican culture? Most parts of Dominican culture, most parts of Caribbean culture. And emotionally abusive, that's their whole thing. That's the whole thing. Just those terrible, terrible people. I felt bad for Pedro, especially when he said he finally could see in his family what Chantel's family saw. Trash. I wanted to give him a hug. Really sad to watch. I felt so bad for him. He was mocked for being faithful to his wife. That's insane. And Nicole is always bashing his marriage, which is also weird to me because he's got the healthiest relationship of anyone in his family. He and Chantel seem truly happy together, and his relationship with her family has gotten so much better too. He looked so brokenhearted when he came to the realization that Chantel's family was right about his mom and sister being users. Time for him to stop sending them money. Chantel and Pedro language. Oh yeah, this was crazy too. I am so impressed with Chantel and Pedro and how much they've improved speaking each other's language. They're far from perfect, but when they were first on the show, Pedro could barely communicate with Chantel's family, and Chantel had the famous Punto incident with Nicole. Now Pedro is doing the family Chantel almost entirely in English, and Chantel is able to have a coherent, deep, and difficult conversation with Pedro's mother in Spanish. I think this is another sign of a lot of growth with them. Yeah, I was surprised. Chantel's Spanish really has improved so much. I'm like, dang, I could probably get to that point. But she was able to talk about these complex topics in another language. And yeah, that's fascinating. That's fascinating. I'm really impressed by Chantel's Spanish. Those who say her accent is horrible, like, duh, it's not her mother tongue. I still think that while she talks slower, maybe behind doors she does not practice as much, she is able to have quite deep conversations with Pedro and his family, and she is perfectly understood. Can we just appreciate a spouse that once in a while is willing to learn the other's language? Yeah, exactly, because a lot of people on this show be dating foreigners that don't speak the language and they don't even try and learn. So yeah, that was that. And I thought the season was crazy. River's storyline was also was also interesting. I don't find River to be particularly interesting, but that girl that he was dating, I was like, she's clearly just here for the cameras, like obviously, like, you know. And it took her no time at all to break up with him. Like the slightest thing he did, as long as she got on the show, slightest thing he did, she broke up with him. Well, I have no idea why they gave her an interview. Like and they gave her an interview and a scene on her own, like with her friend. Like I don't understand why they did that. I thought that was weird. Like she's not that. We don't need to see her like that. Like. So anyway, as for what Cetol said, I'm sorry that I'm eating. That this turned into a bagel mukbang randomly, but I started feeling weird. I haven't eaten in one since like one, and I have to stop doing that. It's horrible. Like I eat at horrible times. It's horrible. I need to have a schedule. Anyway, so I actually have the video. I have the video. So we're gonna watch this video that was very disappointing. Obviously, that allegedly they're not allegedly. I mean, it's obvious. Pedro did actually know his brothers, and so we don't know if he knows his father or not. left up to interpretation, but let's see.
Pedro from the Family Chantel, we were all rooting for you. Literally just recapped the Family Chantel yesterday during our Tuesday TLC takeover. And now we find out this story that his whole storyline about trying to find his father and brothers was fake. Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, where you get daily and consistent hot topics in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news, when we go to Beyonce before the 90 days, 90 days single life, and the Pedro storyline. So if you follow, and congratulations to Royal and Anjanette, we need you to come back, because at least you gave us some real interesting storylines. And I believed the storyline. And I honestly believed Pedro's storyline. So if you followed this season of The Family Chantel, then you know we've been following all of their other little side stories. We didn't care about River. We always loved to get a moment with Karen and her messy self.
Love Karen.
And there was
She's
a
hilarious.
heartfelt moment in this season finale. They just had the season finale between Pedro and Karen, where she hugs him because he feels that his mother is not giving him answers, is not supportive of him trying to find his father. And I talked about this for the last few weeks, saying this is such a real raw moment for Pedro. And we always can see through people's fakeness. I did not see through Pedro and his fakeness until we got the receipts. So as you know, just a couple of weeks ago, we had a scene between Pedro and his half-brothers who he allegedly never met before. But you guys, social media will never be defeated, found a photo of Pedro and Nicole, his annoying sister, and his two brothers from 2014. 2014, there was this photo of them all hanging out. I'm literally looking at the photo as we speak, and you can see his brothers in the photos. Did they not think this through? Was this a whole thing from the producers? Yeah, I believe it was the producers, but I also believe it was the family, because they want to keep up this charade of a show. But my goodness, I understand pre-producing certain moments because it is reality TV and you can't always have real moments happen naturally on camera. But to lie about finding your father and not knowing your brothers, not sure if he still really doesn't know his father, but based on this photo where all of them look really happy and hunky-dory from almost 8 years ago, says to me Nicole doesn't have an issue with her brothers, about she doesn't want to meet her brothers. She's already met them. That's why. And maybe she felt as if she couldn't be as good of an actress as her brother. Pedro, you deserve an Oscar.
Yeah.
You deserve an Oscar for that. I literally felt for Pedro, and I said, you know what? He's representing a lot of young boys that grow up without their fathers. The tears, the emotion, the anger, all of them deserves Oscars, except Nicole. I didn't believe anything coming out of Nicole. I could not believe this information, but shout out to you guys. And again, join our texting community at textempire.com, where you're able to drop me tea and information like this one. You know, we normally just recap the show. We don't talk about all the sides. I was like, you know what? We need to get a season 4 because we need to see how this plays out in season 4. No, we don't. Because the majority of the Family Chantel's season 3 was garbage. Last season was good. This first season was really, really good. But you could tell at the beginning of season 3, they didn't have a lot. And I think this was them.
It was very slow.
Pre-producing a moment. But you're playing with your family. You're playing with people's emotions. And I'm done. I'm done with you, Pedro. I cannot believe that you would do that. But maybe it's real. Maybe it's real when it comes to not knowing his father, but he did know his brothers. But then that wouldn't make sense about you questioning and trying to figure out who your father is. We shall see. You already know they probably already signed on for a season 4. I'm going to see how they play this out, but I'm going to be looking at you.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm sitting up here passionately talking about something that might not even be real. But still, I feel like whether it's real or not, this is why reality TV is actually brilliant, because the way that these editors and these producers come up with storylines about like real people, I mean, they don't get enough credit. They really do not get enough credit for the stuff that they do, the ideas that they come up with, you know? So, yeah, I feel like still it was an important story, and I feel like there's probably so many young men who can watch that storyline about not just young men too, people who can watch the story, about not having their father in their life and relate to it. Is very sad, but it's very common. It's very, very common. Single mothers everywhere, people who don't ever, know their father, have no relationship, and they need to be dragged for filth. Fathers who abandon their children need to be dragged for fucking filth. Excuse me. As much as they drag single mothers and talk about them and say they're bad and don't date them, and as much as they're looked down upon and forced to deal with, men who abandon their children should be dragged to hell. Okay, they need to be dragged for filth. So anyway, that is that. So I actually have Kahlil supposed to call in. She doesn't respond to my text, so let me call her and tell her to call in. But she's supposed to call in, and I'm going to tell you all about my stalking story because I've been stalked. I'm so serious, and I have to tell you guys about this. Are you sleeping? Okay. Are you going to come on? All right. I have to tell my stalking story. All right. She's literally sleeping. What a jerk. All right. Let's see when she comes in. Yeah. So I'll start telling y'all. So basically, I so not last week, the week before, I went to Florida, I went to Miami. And so I decided that I was going to put my dogs in a dog sitter in New York. It's a woman that I've used before a few times. She's affordable, she's nice, so I like to use the same person. My dogs get along with her. I'd rather consistency. I'm sorry for the mukbang, but I have to eat this thing, or else I'm gonna start feeling real lightheaded and shit. So I'm driving to New York. I get in New York. And I'm driving on the belt, out to Queens, because we leaving out JFK, whatever. I'm driving straight to the dog sitter's house. And as I'm driving, my dog will be in the car, he'll be in the back seat, and he'll be like whining because he wants me to open the window. So I open the window, especially because it's cold. I always only open the window this much so that just his head can stick out the window. And then I lock the window. So from the driver's side. So the window can't, whatever. So he's got his head out the window. So I'm driving on the belt. This woman starts driving like a crazy person, honking at me, flashing my lights, and screaming about the dog. Your dog's head out the window. And I look at her. I'm like, whatever. Okay. Yeah, I know my dog's head is out the window. Like, mind your business. Do. Then, she's screaming. She continues to screaming at me, honking at me. She's screaming at me, honking at me, flashing her lights, it's starting to get real dangerous, right? So she's going on this side, then she's on that side, then she's on the back. And so where I'm going at in Queens is in Jamaica, right? So, I'm driving on the highway, and like you have to take different exits to get to different highways, right? So I'm taking exit to another highway, to another highway, to another highway. And I noticed that this woman is behind me. So I'm like, there is no way that this woman is going the same direction as me. And she's literally tailgating me, not even a full car length, half a car length, 70 miles an hour on the highway. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck, man? So then eventually I do some in and out zooming, whatever, to get away from her. And then, I'm like, okay, fine. Then somehow this bitch finds me again, and she's tailgating me and screaming and like, following me real close, screaming out the window, like, your dog tied out the window, close the fucking window, you fucking idiot. Like all this kind of shit. And I'm just like looking at her and looking back straight because, first of all, mind your fucking business. My dog can have his head out the window if he wants to. The window is locked. It's only open this much, so only his head can sit out. It's fine. We're fine. We're doing okay. So I'm ignoring this hoe, and then I keep getting off. Then she's again screaming at me, driving on the side, honking, going crazy. I call Kahlil. I'm like telling her like, yo, I'm kind of scared. Like, I don't know what's going on. What should I do? Should I call the police or whatever? And she's like, yeah, call the cops. Like, this is dangerous. Whatever. So I'm like, all right, so now I have to call the cops, but I'm just like, I don't really want to call the cops because it's like so much to try and do. I'm like trying to drive and all this shit. And I'm like, what do I have to do? Do I have to like not go where I'm going so that, this chick doesn't follow me and shit like that? So as I see like a shoulder coming for like an exit, I go and then I just like immediately come over real quick and slow down. So she has no choice but to keep going past me. And so I did it quick and she just kind of slowed down. It was again screaming at me out the fucking window, like, fuck yeah, you're your fucking dog, all this stuff. And then she keeps going. I'm like, okay, all right, I lost her. So I wait a couple seconds and then I speed up and get back on the road. I'm looking around like, what the fuck? Like, let me look around, make sure this hoe is not around nowhere. So I guess Kahlil's not coming on. That's annoying. All right. Anyway, all right. So anyway, she doesn't find me, whatever. I'm like, okay, that was scary. What a psycho bitch. And that's the end of the story. I go drop my dogs off. I go over to Kahlil's house, wake up in the morning, and we go to Miami. I come back, everything's hunky dory. Good. That's not the end of the story. Tell me why. Then I, come back from bring my dogs down. We're at home, chilling. One day I'm trying to do stuff on the computer. Oh, she's here.
Were you talking shit about me?
Yes, I was. Did you hear me?
No. All I heard was you trying to do stuff on the computer or something.
No, because I was mad. I was like, damn, you didn't say hold on. You just was like, sorry. And then I was just like, okay, she just went back to sleep. But anyway, so I was trying to tell them my stalking story, which Kahlil doesn't know this. So you actually came just in time because this is the part you don't know. So I just told them about the woman on the highway, the psycho lady.
Oh my God.
So the story did not end. The story did not end.
What you mean?
So right, we go to Miami, come back, pick up the dogs. I come home, right? So I'm home, whatever. I'm trying to do my stuff on the computer. The dogs are bothering me. So I'm like, this is so annoying. Let me take them to the dog park. So I take them to the dog park and I take them for a while because I want to wear them out for next 2 days. Usually when I take them to the dog park, I take them for like an hour and change. They leave me alone that day and the next day, they're good. Wear them the fuck out at the dog park. Come home, feed them. They walk around for a little bit, then they pass out for like 3 hours, right? Laying down, boom, laying down. Eventually, they wake up from their nap and they go outside in the backyard and they start, I don't know, barking at something, whatever, and just like being in the backyard, right? I get a knock at my door at 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night. Or no, 8:30, close to 9. It was weird because it was like weird. Open the window and I see a police looking vehicle outside of my house. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was scared. So I was like, okay, let me open. I open the door and there's an officer on my step. And I'm like,
You didn't tell me this.
No, because I told you I can't text it. Like I had to talk on the phone, but you was, doing your shit.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, so I'm like, okay, what the heck? So the lady tells me, hi, my name is so and so. I'm with Animal Control, Delaware Animal Control Services, and and she's like, I'm with Delaware Animal Control Services. We got a report that there is an animal tied outside all day long without food or water. And I need to come and inspect your residence to make sure that there's food and water outside for your dog, and that your dog is being left in this cold weather. Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, you just turned the camera off.
Yeah, I have to plug in the computer.
Okay. So yeah, so she was just like so she was like, yeah, we've gotten a complaint that there's an animal tied up outside and the animal's been outside all day barking. And I was like, well, that's not true, because I took my dogs to the dog park for like 2 hours and then they've been sleeping for the past 4 hours. So there's no way that that's true. So she said that they got a call, and then I showed her that there's no way that that's possible, and she was like, okay, let me just take your information so that we can write down that the findings were unfounded. And so she starts writing it down. She's like, okay, you have start identifying it. You have a German Shepherd. It's this and that. And then, reading it down, I'm like, yes, you have all this information. And I was like, so what exactly was, the nature of the call? She said that someone called and reported, what I said, and that they were going in, like, that there's a dog here that's being abused. Like, there's a dog here that's being neglected and stuff like that. And I'm like, I couldn't understand. Like, there's no way. I live in the semi hood, right? Like, there's no way no one in my neighborhood would call the police. Like, on some, like, it's just not that kind of vibe over here. There's no way that my neighbor called animal control people. Like, it's just not happening. And so I'm just like thinking, and I'm like, oh my God. And I said to her, I'm like, the weirdest thing happened. I told her that, what happened, the story about the woman with the thing. I think that this woman took my plates down and went and Googled my address. The freeway lady, a Karen. Of course she was a Karen. I think she was like she had dark hair though, so she might have been like an Italiano Karen, or a light Latina Karen, but she was definitely a Karen. And so, I always say this too, because sometimes I leave my dogs in the car and go in the store, but only for a couple of minutes, right? And I always leave the heat if it's cold and the air conditioner on if it's hot. And I always worry that I'm gonna have a Karen that's gonna try and be a hero and bust out my car window or something, because motherfuckers can't mind their business. But anyway, I think what she did is that she took my license plate down, and she probably Googled my thing, because you can do this. I looked it up too. You can find people's address, like, when you have their plates. Like, it's easy to find, and at the very least she would say, I have this person's license plate, and whatever. So these people came, and pretty much took my, she said that she was going to write it down as unfounded, but I'm like trying to make sure that like bitch, you just tried to like file a report on me. Like, is that going to be like in their system now that like
you're a dog abuser?
Yeah, that there's potential dog abuse at this address or something like that. And so the number 2, at first I thought she said it was a 215 number. At first flipped the fuck out. I was like, oh my God, that's New York. But New York is 212, not 215. So 215 is actually Philly, but that doesn't really mean anything because I live in Delaware. I have a 347 number. So Karen, Freeway Karen, Freeway Karen could have had a Philly number, whatever. Because it makes no sense why all of a sudden animal control people show up on my doorstep with crazy allegations that are like so opposite. Like we were not even we were not even home, and then they were asleep most of the day. So that was just crazy. And I was just like, could not believe that. And they were like, the lady was very nice. She was like, oh, it's no problem. Like, I see that, clearly that, the accusation allegation is not true, whatever. But yeah, like what the fuck? Like why don't people mind their business? I don't understand this. Like why do people
being abused?
why do people have to feel like they have to be a hero? Like what is up with that? Like hit that like button. Give me likes if you hate Karens. Give me likes. Give me thumbs up if you hate Karens.
How do I like it?
That is so stupid. But yeah. So that was my story, and I was trying to tell you that, but
sorry.
But yeah, I was stalked by a psycho Karen about my dogs. Anyway, so Kahlil, what has been up with you as of late?
Oh, tons and tons of stuff. I've been so busy and occupied, and
lots of laying on the couch.
Oh, definitely.
Lots of sleeping.
There's a lot of sleeping going
and
on.
Facebook scrolling,
Facebook scrolling, Instagram scrolling.
Instagram scrolling.
Yeah, there's a lot of mess that I walking around.
Yes. Walking around.
Yeah.
So I took 4 big garbage bags of stuff to Goodwill today to give away. Preparing for Operation Dade County. Operation Miami-Dade County. And Kahlil, you've been preparing as well.
Yes, I have a second operation. I have Operation Not Hamilton County.
Not Hamilton County?
Yes.
Is that in Kentucky?
That's where I live now.
Oh.
That's Ohio.
Yes. So I don't know if we have we told people that you're coming on the new journey, the new adventure?
Yeah, what were we looking for?
Oh, derp. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm acting like it's some big announcement. But yeah, Kahlil
we want to move to Miami.
Yeah, Kahlil is coming as well. She's gonna probably come a little after me, or no?
Yeah, a little after you, because you're going like April.
No, probably not. It's probably more like June. I have to get my things situated. I got to make sure it's a clean break. So then wait, April, May. So yeah, probably June. Like let's try and make end of like lease end May. Wait, how many days are there in May? 31, 30,
days,
30?
September, April, June, and November. 30.
30. So
31.
May 31st. Oh yeah, right? Because that's like Memorial Day or something, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. So yeah, so I feel like that should be the thing. But then I'm also thinking too, like, remember we were talking about Florida and we're talking about me going down. Does it even make sense for me to go down if I'm not having cash in hand ready to buy?
Yes.
Rent?
Go see what it's like, what they want from you, what the pickings are looking like. Understand the process. They might tell you something else that you're not prepared for, like you have to have this document, blah blah blah, all this other kind of stuff. Maybe that stuff is at home. So go see what's out there, learn, and then be ready for your next visit that you're going to get a place, whether it be one that you saw already, but it's very possible that one that you saw already gets taken, but at least you know what the scene is like. Like when I moved out here, I came and I visited a whole bunch of different apartments, and then I came back out. So
and I mean, like, this is probably stupid. I shouldn't care about like thinking about this. Like, is it a waste of the people's time to show me these things?
No, because you don't have to say, "Oh, I don't have the money right now." You can just say, "Oh, when is this going to be available?" See if it's available. If it's available right now, then it's just like, "Okay, well, probably too bad." But if it's going to be available more so in your time frame, then you're just telling them, "Okay, I'm interested, and I will keep you posted." And then keeping them posted is scrambling, getting the money in hand. But I
And then
mean,
I guess there's probably some level of I should be on the ground there to look
yeah,
at neighborhoods and see what I like, what are
especially
the benefits.
I saw a nice place in Plantation. I don't know where Plantation is.
Really, you want me to live in a place called Plantation, Florida? Really? That's what you think of me?
Wait, the point no, you too light skin. The point is hold on, what was the point? Oh, the point is we're gonna familiarize ourselves with the neighborhood and see, okay, yeah, I could live in Homestead, or this area is nice, but it's too far. This area is close to where I want to be, but it's really ghetto, much more ghetto looking than the pictures. So you go down there and have an area idea
That's
of where
true.
you even want to live. And then
Yeah.
when you narrow it down, then you can say, okay, now I'm closer to ready to move. Let me seriously go find a place. This trip is going to be to get the place. But
So I need to go twice.
yeah, yeah.
Go down to go snoop around, look around, see what's up, see the vibes, see the neighborhoods, and then the second time is when I had cash in hand, paperwork, most everything that I could need, and then um
And this way you'll be meeting like you'll be meeting people who work out there who are into renting houses or whatever it is that you're looking for, and you'll have their contact so that when something comes up in at the end of April, then you can say, okay, cool, I'm in there mid-May. Or
okay.
something comes up in May, you say perfect timing because I want to be out of here by June.
So what do I say when they're like, "When are you looking to move in?"
Oh, when they ask you, like, when
Yes.
are you looking to move? You
Yes, when I'm not ready at that point, I get flustered in these moments when I have to lie.
yeah, so you say within the next just say your lease is up in April. So
Are
this
they gonna be like, I
what?
don't know why I shouldn't care. I shouldn't care. I don't know why I feel like
I don't know what that
they're
face
gonna think that I'm wasting their time. Like they're like,
no. If you say that you're ready to move in April and it's February when you go, all you're saying is, I can't move this month because if you go at the end of February, it might as well be March. So you're saying, okay, I'm not ready to move this month. Then they will say, okay. And then worst case scenario, they say, well, we have a place. It's available now. And then you say, well, I can't move now. And then they
do
say,
you
"Don't
think
you
that
wanna move it?"
do you think that do you think I'm gonna have to have a realtor?
It would be really helpful, but I don't think you need one.
They usually take 1 month's rent, right, for payment.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They might be interested in that way, and you're like, okay, well, hold on to your info because then maybe I can make money off of you in a month or two.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And these companies, and you didn't use a realtor, right? Like,
No, but I live in an apartment complex, so I just went through the leasing office.
so you went to the leasing office and was like, hey, can I see what you guys have here?
And she was like, "We have one unit."
They only had one left,
Yeah.
and it was yours.
And it was she
That was lucky as hell.
told me the price of it, and I was like, "Can I go see it?" And she was like, "No."
Okay.
And then this lady walks in and she's like, hey, what's going on, ladies? Blah, blah, blah. I just got back from maternity leave. I don't have anything to do. And, and then the lady is like, oh, well, I'm just trying to schedule her for an appointment later in the day. And I'm like, well, I can't come back later in the day. I'm going back to New York. And she was like, and then the pregnant lady, or the now no longer pregnant lady, said, oh, I can take you to see the unit. And she took me and I saw it and I was like, okay, I'll take it. And she was like, really? And I just took it on the
They
spot.
had one unit left, a studio, exactly what you want, downtown. That's
Price
crazy.
was right.
The price
The
was
price
right.
was
The price was right. Dang, you know
the
you're gonna
price
pay
was
probably
right.
like double that price for a studio in Miami where you want to live. You think you want to live in like Brickell or something? Like, would you live in Brickell or no?
Definitely. I mean, like, it doesn't have to be Brickell. That's not necessarily the place that I have to go, but I would definitely live in a Brickell.
Yeah. As long as you can walk to
A supermarket.
a thing. No, don't say supermarket. Something.
Oh, that's what I kept saying. Something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a bus stop. As long as I
I
can
mean,
walk
walk to
to
something.
a bum on the corner.
Yeah, he better be there with his 5 black and milds.
But yeah. Anyway, so that's all. I just really wanted to share my stalking. I wanted to tell you the story, but it's good because now I don't have to tell it twice.
Yeah.
I can tell the world, I can tell you that I had animal control people, a stalking lady. Do you think it was her, right? Like that makes no sense.
Who else would be calling randomly right after this happened?
Like a Karen is
Like,
who kills animal control people.
Because you were at my house. You were coming to my house.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I told him that story about everything leading up to it, like her on the freeway and all that shit. Like,
no, but I mean,
I called you and was like,
your Delaware address where your car is at?
huh?
What if you didn't go back to your Delaware address where your car was at?
Yeah. It would have been someone else that she's calling on, you know. And like, can you imagine if someone had these dogs taken away from me? I would go postal. Okay. I would go postal. I would go effing postal. I don't know how I would track her down, but I would lose my damn mind.
No, they can't. I will have to adopt the dogs.
Oh, when they took them, you would have to adopt them.
Where they brought them to and be like, can I have these 2 idiots?
And then give them back to me.
That idiot and her brother. No. Can I have this nut job and her brother?
Exactly. I'm looking at her over on the couch too. Her ears perked up. She know we talking about her.
You see, that's why I had to correct myself.
Yo, my dog is crazy, man.
Crazy as fuck.
And so one of my next videos coming up is about my dog. So hopefully it don't go viral and Karen tries to send more people over to me. I wonder if she's gonna call. I wonder if she's gonna call and check and find out, like, hey, what happened? She probably would.
She'd seem like the type.
Yeah, to follow up and see what happened, you know, with that, and maybe she'll call again from a different number and report me again. Like, so horrible, so stupid.
That's crazy.
No, that is just like
people.
Too much time on your hands. Like, what the hell, man?
I don't do that type of shit.
Why you have to be a hero
on my hands?
Why you have to be a hero, man?
Save these dogs from her.
I have to be the one. It has to be me. I must save the animals. I
am a save the animals.
I must save them. Me, Karen, Super K. Like, okay.
Hold on, can I change my name to Super K?
Oh yeah, because you're Kahlil. You could be okay. That'll be your nickname for the next month or two. Lorette said, "Hi Liz, missed the stalking story. We'll watch playback. Hi Kahlil."
Hi, Lorette.
Yeah, no, the stalking story is crazy, man. It's crazy, but yeah. So that's all. That's all our show for today. You know, little.
Wait, that's it. That's what I was here for.
You said a couple minutes. I was trying to get you to talk. Like, you know, I have some.
And I did also come on like an hour later.
Yeah. We do have another, like earlier in the show I was talking about the Family Chantel, and I was talking about this dusty ass guy brainwashing his girlfriend, like trying to turn her into like polygamy. Like it was really crazy. But that leads me to tell y'all about a live stream coming up. We have to plan it because my cousin Jasmine is going to join. It's going to be the three of us, and we're going to just be shitting on guys for an hour, huh?
I didn't know that I was going to be on hers.
No, on like the three of us are going to be together talking.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know I was going to be together with her.
Oh, yeah, because
I don't like her.
Huh?
Girl, you know I don't like her. Girl, I don't like that. You know what?
Please tell me this was not a real Karen. It was a Karen. It was a fucking psycho Karen. It was a psycho Karen. But yeah, we have a.
Wait, I gotta take that back. I don't dislike Jasmine. That's supposed to be a joke, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
like,
no.
What?
No.
I don't want her
Not only have you even ever met her?
I think I met her twice.
Yeah, I don't remember that. But
I remember I met her at least at one time when she came to the house with the dog. But then she came by a second time.
Oh yes, you were here when she came by with Brandy. Yeah. So we're gonna do a show that is, it's called When You Dating. Hold on. Let me get it right. Dating. Wait, where is it?
Oh, I know what this is gonna be.
Oh, dusty stories and dealing with men who hate you, basically. So I have stories, obviously, you know, of dating guys who hate me. Stories about guys I haven't told y'all about yet, you know, because I told you I've dated so many. And dated doesn't mean what you think it means, okay? But we go through them quickly when you realize that they're not a good person, then you move on to the next. Like it's kind of like doop, 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 doop. It's like a bus. Doop, doop, come get off, come get off, come get off. And so that probably sounds bad too.
Yeah, it just kind of negated what you just said. Dating,
a bus and a bus stop.
dating.
No.
When I say dating, I don't mean dating like you think. I mean running through them one after the other. That's what I mean.
No, but it's just like we don't like, you know what I'm saying, like
sex in them.
Yeah, I should just say that. It doesn't mean that I slept with them. And even if I did sleep with them, so what? Who gonna check me, boo? But anyway, I didn't sleep with them. But you know, texting, going on a date, 2 days, 3 days, doesn't work out. You move on to the next. Texting a guy, going out with him. Things may be getting to that point, but before you even get there, you just, you know. So I've had some experience with that. Kahlil has experiences with dating guys who secretly hate her, especially
because I have a new experience. I don't know if I've had this before, although I can think of somebody who maybe did kind of dislike me in some ways. But I definitely have
to you doing better than them too. This is like the point. It's like she's a PhD, and so dating guys who don't have the same credentials will try to knock her down a couple pegs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously not all guys are like this, but we have had experiences. And my cousin has a horrible experience with the guy that her toxic relationship, where the guy literally said, like, I could never truly be with you because you're a dentist. Like, if you were maybe a nurse or an assistant, maybe, but because you're a dentist, I could never date you. Like, because she was a higher ranking. They weren't even in the same field. But because she made more money than him and she was in a higher job, he told her, like, I could never date you for that. Oh, yeah, look, Kahlil, look. Unku is a PhD.
Hey, go ahead, Dr. Unku.
So yeah, she had that experience. Yeah. Wow, that's fucked up. Yeah. And she
Has this ever anything like this? Oh, I guess we should ask them when we do the show.
Yeah, so that show's gonna come up. We'll probably do that maybe next week, maybe. I don't know if we'll have time this weekend, but yeah. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Please make sure you give a like on the video. Thank you for Kahlil for waking up from your slumber to come say hi to my people.
Yeah.
And you know, you guys, I always appreciate when you participate in the conversation. Like, I love to see the comments pop up. I love you guys' likes. My engagement's going up on the channel on the back end. So whatever you're doing, the likes, the comments, keep going because it's going up. It's going up. I don't even tell y'all, when I made that video about colorism and like red pill psycho men, I lost like 12 followers. I mean subscribers. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, the boys are mad. The boys are mad. Like, I did lose subscribers from that, but it's going back up, and that's okay. I don't want people like that following me anyway. So it seems like there's people who are subscribed to me before that are leaving, but then new people are coming. So it's like the number goes down, then it goes back up, then it goes down, then it goes up. So it's like it's filtering out for the new style, the new era of content and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, refresh this video, leave a comment on the actual video. You know, I will really appreciate that for you. Uncle says that doesn't surprise me, unfortunately. Yeah, no. They're very mad. They're a very mad group of people. Those people, you people are mad.
People.
You people. So yeah. All right. So thank you guys. I hope you enjoy your weekend. If I come back on here, it might be on Saturday night or something like that, or Sunday. All right. Say bye, Kahlil.